I've had a little bit of a think about some of the stuff that you can do really simply, hardly cost anything. You've probably got lots of the stuff around in your house already. And if not, maybe you can send off for some bits and pieces if it sparks your imagination and it's something you'd like to do. It's puppets. Puppets are just amazing things, aren't they? You can make your own in a whole range of things. When you think about puppets, I don't know what you think about, whether you think of Punch and Judy, that really famous old sort of seaside town theatre experience, if you like, using puppets. You might think of stuff like the Muppets, which are really beautifully made, fantastic TV puppets. A whole range of different things like the frog and the two old men in the balconies, lovely. You might think on a really big scale, because I bet you some of you have been lucky enough to go and see Warhorse, or perhaps seen it on the NT Live when it's been screened into the cinemas. If you haven't, and you do get the chance to see Warhorse, whenever we get the chance to do theatre things again, oh, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's the most beautiful thing. And while there are puppeteers on the stage with the horse, moving its legs and manipulating it and moving it across the stage, eventually you sort of stop looking at the puppeteers and you just become completely entranced by the puppet. That's what's important about those big scale puppets, actually, that it becomes the character. The puppet is its own character, yeah? You might have seen or read Pinocchio. That's a really famous puppet, of course. Some of you might have been super lucky and been to London or wherever to see The Lion King. Oh, that really blew me away. That was just the most beautiful piece of puppeteering. Stunning, amazing costumes, beautiful music, everything. But it was a puppet show at the end of the day. So there's no reason why you can't put on your own little puppet show using crafty materials, using household stuff. So I thought we might have a little go. Mine will be really basic, but I want you to think about how you can expand that and do that bigger, make them more beautiful. It's a really great opportunity to use your voice. So you can put on accents, you can be a Scottish puppet or whatever you want to be. You can do some really beautiful, silly voices. You can go all squeaky or you can go really deep with your puppet voices and make them all different. So I think we should have a go at looking at some different puppet styles, and then you can have a go at making some for yourself. Okay. So I think the first kind of puppet that we're going to have a go at is a lollipop puppet. So you're going to need a lollipop stick. This is quite a big one. I found it in my cupboard, so I presume I must have done some sort of project with it before. You can get them in sort of your crafty shops, your Hobbycraft, Boyses, Yorkshire Trading, those kind of shops. They're really cheap. Similarly, you can get like lots of tiny little ones. So you can make sort of shapes and bits and pieces with those as well. And you can add them together to make taller things. You just need to stick them together a little bit. The little ones are really nice, especially if you get lots of plain ones, just for drawing on. So drawing little characters on, practicing little faces. I made a silly little cow one, and I just put a tiny little bit of tape at the back of it to make some floppy ears and just painted in black and white. So that was nice and simple. Just draw little people on them, little feet, little faces, little characters, and then you've just got the most silly, lovely little stick. And then you can kind of design a voice for the stick. So I think this one might talk a little bit like this and might say, I'd like to sit on this park bench with you, if that's okay. So you can just have a bit of fun with it. The big ones are really great because what you can do is you can cut out heads, faces, shapes, animals, whatever, and stick them on there. So I'm just going to have a go at doing that. I'm not going to fib, I've cheated. I've gone onto the internet and I found loads of templates. So I have printed one off and I've stuck him on. So I don't know if you can see him in the light very well. He's just my little alien. There was absolutely loads. There was animals, there was all kinds of different things. So I've just stuck him on with a little bit of white tack actually. But you can glue him on. But this way you can take him off and put another character on if you've only got so many sticks. So that you can video it. You can do like I've done and sort of make a little video. So what would be nice is take him off, colour him in, and you've got a whole little character. So I went away and I've coloured him in. So now we've got a little purple alien. But then when we're thinking that we want stories, because, you know, puppets are standalone things, but they can tell a story. So now we've got a spaceship. So the spaceship comes in, perhaps the aliens floating about. It's entirely up to you. It's your story. So with animals, with anything, I mean, some of you will be really great drawers and you won't need to cheat and go onto the internet like I've done and find some sort of templates. But if you're just wanting to start out, they're a really great place to have a look, and there's just loads and loads of resources on there. So you could get 10, 15 different pictures, bring them into your story and really start telling some stories through your little lollipop sticks. Cool, easy as anything, cheap as anything. If you haven't got lollipops, you might have, I don't know, you could even just stick it on a Sharpie stick, or you know, on a pen or pencil, anything. It doesn't even have to be a lollipop stick when you think about it, does it? It can be anything that sort of stands upright, anything at all. There's a glue stick, you could even use that. Nice to have some sort of plain background, I think. You could even have some drawing on there as well, or his title, his name, so that you knew what the character was. But great fun colouring it in as well. I'd forgotten how nice just sitting colouring in is. It's a very relaxing activity. So there we go. Lollipop stick! So that's a lollipop puppet. Next up are finger puppets. Not the sort that you cut out and put over your finger, but the sort that you make a little shape and you put your fingers through and then you can walk them along. Don't know if you've seen those. Now you can make these out of paper. So just paper and a pen and a pair of scissors is all you're going to need. But it is better if you have got just some slightly stiffer card. I mean, you might have some packaging for something, like I've got a box of white tack here. So that box would do on the inside because it's plain and clear. So absolutely do not spend any money on this whatsoever. You don't need anything. You just need that slightly stiffer card, which I'm sure you're going to have something knocking about. And if you've only got paper, well, you could even fold a couple of pieces of paper over together to make it a little bit stronger. Then you need to think about your characters. Again, you can have a look on the internet and get some pictures off and draw them off there, or you can use completely your own imagination and draw something. So take a piece of your card and draw your character. So I've drawn, I don't know if you can see him, just a really funny little kind of an old man penguin style thing. You need to make sure that you've got a little blank bit on the bottom here, because this is where your fingers are going to come through. And obviously you can decorate him up afterwards as well, whatever character you've got. If you give him a little hat or something, you could put some string on it. You can really decorate it up and make it into a proper little puppet. So the hardest thing, I think, is to cut out the holes, because they need to be wide enough to get your fingers through and far enough apart, if you see what I mean. So have a little practice with that. That takes a little bit of getting used to. And it's also really quite hard. I put X's there, but you can put circles. It's quite hard to cut a circle. So if you just don't mind it being a bit rough and ready, you can just stick a pencil through and waggle it about a bit, which is why card is better, because it's a bit more robust. And then you can pop your fingers through. So I'm going to have a go at cutting him out a little bit, and we'll see where we get on. So I've had a little bit of fun with him. I've coloured him in a little bit, cut the holes. They are really rough and ready. As I say, you can just stick a pencil through and wiggle it about a little bit until it's big enough for your fingers to come through. And then here he is. So you've got your fingers through, so he can stand. I made a little bit of a lip actually at the back. I'm not sure if you can see that. So he's standing on a little bit of a lip. So he's sort of slightly freestanding, which seems to work quite nicely. And there you've got your, I don't know what he is. He started off as an emperor penguin, but I'm not entirely sure what he's finished off as. Maybe some kind of owl. Move him around. Give him a very masterful voice, I think. Oh, hello, Libby. You've got your Fuse t-shirt on this evening. I think that's jolly lovely. Very nice. So he's a really cheap and cheerful character. Pens, pencils, a little bit of thin card, pair of scissors. There you go. Make a series of those and you can have another kind of puppet show. Cool. We can't talk about cheap and cheerful puppets without a sock puppet, can we? Everybody used to make sock puppets when I was a little kid. So just need a sock and you've automatically sort of got a little character really who can come and sweep in and tickle you and do whatever. And let's see what we can do with him. Right, let's see what's happened to him. I've been in the button box. Oh, I forgot I had a button box. Gorgeous, filled with stuff. Here he is. Hi there. Hello. I'm really quite cheap and cheerful. You can spend hours making something a little bit more sophisticated than this, but just 2 buttons for eyes, tiny little bit of red material which I've just tacked on. If you don't do sewing, as you can see, I don't really do sewing very well, you can just stick it on with a little bit of glue. Same with the eyes. If you've got those googly eyes, you know, you can get those little sticky on googly eyes. They'd be great for a sock puppet as well. But they're so nice and you can move them around. And then take it all off and you've got your sock back. This one has got to be the cheapest ever puppet because you've got it with you. All you need is a pen, Sharpie or something like that. Make sure you haven't got an allergy to your Sharpie or whichever pen you're using before you do this. And then you can have a little family of puppets. And they can talk to each other and interact. Just put some little faces on. You could make little hats for them. Might be quite good fun. 0 cost, 100% daftness. What a joy. So that was my very quick introduction to cheap and cheerful puppet making. I just wanted to think a little bit about something that you can do on your own to A, have a little bit of fun, and B, to help you relax a little bit. And we don't always have somebody else around to help us do that and to help us play games and do all the lovely nice stuff that we do. So I just thought of a very quick game that you can do on your own, which is very relaxing. And all it needs is a pack of cards. So your 52 cards, which I'm sure you'll have a pack knocking about somewhere in the back of the cupboard. Get them out. There's loads of games you can play with your cards anyway. But this one is just the simplest one and you can play it on your own. So all you do is you have to declare, to say first, whether you think the card that you're going to turn over is a red card or a black card. So you say out loud, or in your head at least, which it's going to be. So I'm going to say red card. Aha. So it was a red card. I'm going to put that on my correct pile. So you do that every single time. Red card again. Black card. Fail. Pile. Wrong pile. Black card. Wrong. Red card. Wrong. Red card. Ah, correct. Red card. Yay! Black card. Ace of spades. Yeah. Black card. Wrong. So you keep going until you've done all 52 cards in the pack, and then you just count up how many you've got in each pile. So, got 12 in that, blah, blah, blah. You've won or you've lost, and you can just keep playing it and playing it and playing it over and over again. And as I say, all it needs is a 52 card pack and a little bit of relaxation and concentration. Give it a go. So while we're having a little think about things that you can do on your own, because we don't always have the luxury of people around us, do we? I want to keep thinking about those relaxing activities as well, things that are going to keep you busy and interested and have fun, but also are nice and gentle and calming. So here's another one. Okay, this next activity that you can do completely on your own is about being aware of your surroundings. This is something that when you're on stage or when you're rehearsing and performing, you've got to be aware of everything that's happening around you. You can't live in a bubble in the theatre. You've got to be part of something. And this is something that you can practice and rehearse doing in the smallest of spaces. I'm actually outdoors today. You can hear some traffic noise, but you can also hopefully hear some natural noises as well. So I'm just going to go on a very, very little walk with you, and we're going to just concentrate on having a look at our surroundings. So the video might be a bit wobbly, but that's all right. You know, the big picture is that we can see houses and we can see some big trees, and I can see a park bench sitting there and a sign, and I think there's a little pond behind us, and some scaffolding and a building, and the chair that I've been sitting on and my jacket. So they're the big things, they're the easy things to really take notice of. So that's, you know, vital on stage, that we notice the big things, we notice the set and the scenery, but we also need to notice the teeny tiny little details. So that could be, I don't know, maybe the cap on a bottle that you're about to use. It's a tiny little thing, but you need to pay such attention to it if you're going to use it. So it's those tiny things. But now we're kind of in the situation that we are in. It's nice to take yourself outside and really concentrate and pay attention to the tiniest little thing. So let's get down a bit lower and see what we can see. Right, so I'm going to pay attention here to the fact that obviously there's grass here, but we've got some dead heads. So again, you know, that's really interesting, isn't it? We can take a really good close look at that and feel it and feel the textures of things. That's a really nice thing to do, is to feel texture. Yeah, a lot of you really like that, and to be able to feel how things are. And when we're devising pieces of work, it's sometimes very nice to have different textures that we can describe to the audience as well. So I'm feeling that that's a little bit crunchy, a little bit crisp. It's come away now because it's dead. And I'm feeling the smoothness of it and the gentle dead head of a daffodil. So just by paying attention to that, and then it's hard and knobbly here. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Let's come down a bit. Oh, look at that. So some tiny little blue flowers just nestled there in the grass. So here we've got another sense. We've got some lovely colour that we can really pay attention to, that gorgeous blue. And paying attention to colours can again be a really useful skill for stage, because we might want to think about costume or makeup or props and what colours we want them to be. And taking some influences from nature is absolutely the best thing to do. Look at those, aren't they gorgeous? And if we zoom right into one maybe, we can see that it's loads of different colours actually. Yes, it's blue and purple. Zoom out a little bit again. But it's also got that little yellow tiny bit in the middle. Really lovely. See what else there is. Oh, we've got a crispy leaf here. See if I can just touch that again. Nice to feel things, pick things up, really touch things, feel those textures in your hand and crumple it and see what it's like when it opens up again. There might be a smell involved as well. Look at that, look at the veins in it and how it catches the light, and it's all different when you turn it in the sunshine. So it's really sunny here today. Look, that's beautiful, isn't it? But walking past, that was just a dead leaf. But now we're really examining it, we can see its depths and how it can stretch and move, a bit like us, and tear and change and become two things now. This is something you can spend quite a long time doing, and it's ever so relaxing. You can see all those different types of grasses and how things are slightly moving around in the wind. See what else we can find. I think I saw a nice tree. So you can hear in the background some birds maybe, but you can hear some workmen. They're doing some building over the road. Ah, yeah, here's the tree I was thinking of. So just a quick look at that tree. Oh, wow. Up into the canopy, checking out the leaves with their veins. Huh. Blowing in the wind, hitting the computer. Let's have a touch of it. You can see the different textures already there, can't you? See a smooth bit. I'm not sure I can reach up and touch that. Maybe just touching the hard bark, how that feels. I wonder if anybody's watching me doing this. I would think they would wonder what on earth I'm doing. But that just feels gorgeous. And I feel a little bit connected to nature doing this. Yeah, really, really lovely. Huh. So I don't know, we've just spent 5 minutes outdoors examining the smallest of things, the tiny details. Important as an actor, but really important as a human being, that we connect with nature and we feel our part in it. And it's just something you can spend 5-10 minutes out in your garden or when you're out on a walk. Give yourself a little different experience of your landscape. Have fun. So this next game you do need somebody else for. One person is enough, definitely, but if you've got some more in your family group, whoever you're living with, get them all to play this. So this game's great for that, and it's really good fun. Very, very simple. You only need some household objects. Takes 30 seconds, 1 minute to set up, and you can play it as many times as you want with lots of different things. It's called Kim's Game, and this is how it works. So, Kim's Game. All you do is need to get some household items, collect them up, put them on a tray or a table, and you'll see what I've done here. I've put a few items out there, just something that took me 30 seconds to collect. Next, 2 people to play the game, so grab somebody from your household, and all you need to do is get them to look at that for however long you want, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds if you're being kind. Get them to look away, and then all you will do is this: take something away. Take whatever item away, shuffle it around a little bit so there's not too much of a gap, show them the tray or the table again, and they have to try and remember the item that you have taken away. It's as simple as that. It's as old as the hills, this game, but it's always really good fun. You can take 2 or 3 items away if you've got lots on there. It's a wonderful memory game, and always like good for a laugh, and see how people get on. So I took away the rubber. Hope you all got it. So here's another really nice, very, very simple activity that you can do on your own. But over the years we've all had dot-to-dot books or join the dots or whatever they were called. But you don't need the books, you can do it yourself. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen or some pencils, crayons, whatever you've got around. And you can just let your imagination fly away with that. Cheap as anything, stuff that you've already got, can take up a bit of time. Let's have a go. So you just take a blank piece of paper, nothing fancy, just some scrap will do, and get your pens out. So I've got some lovely Sharpies here, but just any old crayons or pens will be absolutely fine. Start drawing some dots on your blank piece of paper. You can see shapes emerging already. Carry on, add some more, get the page quite covered. Choose a new pen perhaps. I'm going for a green pen now, I think, and I'm going to start joining the dots together. This was the shape that I made from joining those dots. Then I start looking at it, seeing what maybe it could look like. Ooh, top of it looks a little bit like a rabbit, so I've drawn that in. Haha! And you can carry on and colour it all in and just have a lot of fun making shapes. So there's just been a few gentle, slow activities that you can do, mostly on your own, but some maybe needing 1 or more people. I mean, if you've got lots of people in your family that want to join in with stuff, get everybody in doing things. That's brilliant. But I know sometimes we just need that little bit of one-on-one time. So pick and choose. If there's anything you fancy doing, have a go at it, and hopefully we'll see what happens next time. Take care. Bye bye.